I'm Kara Watts, and this is Stouffer Vlog 101. Kay Hofflander of Higginsville writes, Senator Stouffer, government spending in Washington, D.C. seems out of control. How does the growth in the state budget compare? Well, Kay, that's a great question. Governor Nixon's fiscal year 2010 operating budget totals $23.1 billion. Since we aren't used to talking in billions of dollars every day, I've laid out 4,620 pennies, each representing $5 million in the state's budget.
In 1990, Missouri's budget was around $7.5 billion, or those pennies left of the first blue line. In 2000, it was $16.8 billion, represented by all the pennies left of the second blue line. For 2010, lawmakers planned on enough state revenues to afford a $22 billion budget, represented by the next line. However, the federal government sent an extra $2 billion via the stimulus package, your tax dollars and borrowing, to spend even more.
As you can see, today's budget is nearly 3 times what it was only 20 years ago. And the gap I mentioned, the amount of money Missouri brought in versus what it's spending, is only getting worse. The federal government will stop spending stimulus money in the state in 2012.
Because of this, there's a gap between the amount of money Missouri is spending and the amount of money Missouri can afford. The state will use roughly $785 million in federal stimulus funds to fill the gap caused by declines in the state revenues. Much of this includes expansion of spending programs, not shovel-ready construction projects. In 1990, Missouri's budget was around $7.5 billion. In 2000, it was $16.8 billion. Now we are looking at a $23.1 billion budget, nearly 3 times what it was only 20 years ago. And the gap I mentioned, the amount of money Missouri is raising versus what it's spending, is only getting worse. Each of your tax dollars that Missouri spends can be broken down into exact expenditures. For example, the majority, 32 cents, goes to social services spending, some refer to as welfare. This is followed by education spending, which is 23 cents. These 2 items alone total 55 cents of the budget dollar. In comparison, highways and transportation get a little under a dime of this dollar.
Unfortunately, if state revenues don't turn around and we don't make tough decisions regarding the budget now, the legislature will have to take funds from where the state is spending the most, a tough spot for all Missourians to be in.